The penny has always held a special place in the hearts of Americans. It is the smallest denomination of our currency, and for most people, it carries little more than sentimental value. Tossed in jars, forgotten in couch cushions, or handed over as change without a second thought, the penny rarely commands attention. Yet, within its unassuming copper shell lies a world of history, artistry, and astonishing surprises. Among the countless billions of Lincoln cents struck over the years, there are rare and valuable examples that can change the life of whoever discovers them. The 1976 1-cent penny, though a coin that millions of Americans remember handling, has a version so rare and desirable that it has shocked collectors with values ranging from $60,000 to $135,000. This story of a humble penny transformed into a prized treasure reveals the power of rarity, errors, and history in shaping the value of coins. The year 1976 was one of celebration for the United States. It marked the bicentennial, the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Across the country, patriotic spirit was high, and even coinage reflected this monumental milestone. The quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coins featured special bicentennial designs dated 1776 to 1976 to commemorate the occasion. Oddly enough, the penny was left untouched by these special issues. The Lincoln cent continued its traditional design with Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design introduced in 1959 to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. While the penny did not get a bicentennial redesign, its presence in circulation that year ties it firmly to a moment in U.S. history when pride, reflection, and patriotism were woven into every aspect of American life. By 1976, the Lincoln cent was still being struck in a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin. It wasn't until 1982 that the U.S. Mint transitioned to a primarily zinc core with a thin copper coating to save money on production. This means that a 1976 penny feels heavier and more solid compared to the modern versions in circulation today. Billions of these coins were struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. Most of them were destined to live out ordinary lives in circulation, exchanged countless times in transactions, tossed in pockets, and eventually worn down to the dull brown patina so familiar to anyone who has handled pennies. But not every 1976 penny followed that ordinary path. Hidden within this year are rare varieties, minting errors, and examples in pristine condition that command staggering sums. One of the most intriguing is the 1976 penny struck with unique minting anomalies that collectors prize above almost anything else in modern coinage. These rare errors and scarce variations are what propel certain 1976 pennies into the spotlight of auctions, reaching breathtaking values of $60,000 to $135,000. To understand why a coin worth just 1 cent could rise to such heights, it is important to appreciate the way coins are made. Every coin begins with a blank planchet, a prepared piece of metal that is struck by engraved dies under immense pressure to create the designs we recognize. For billions of coins, the process goes smoothly, producing uniform and ordinary results. But when a mistake happens, whether through a double die, misaligned strike, or the use of the wrong planchet, the results can be spectacular. These anomalies become unique fingerprints in the history of minting, and collectors are willing to pay fortunes for them. Among the most sought-after 1976 pennies are those with double die errors, where the details of Lincoln's portrait or the lettering appear doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process. Such coins are instantly recognizable to sharp-eyed collectors, and their rarity elevates their value into the tens of thousands. Then there are off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the planchet was not properly aligned in the press. The more dramatic the off-center strike while still showing a clear date, the more valuable the coin becomes. And in the realm of astonishing rarities, there are reports of 1976 pennies struck on the wrong planchets, such as dime or foreign coin blanks. These mistakes are incredibly scarce, making them highly desirable treasures in the world of numismatics. Condition also plays a vital role in determining value. A 1976 penny that has survived decades without entering circulation, preserved in its mint state with full original luster, is already scarce. Combine that pristine condition with a rare error or anomaly, and you have a coin that can easily achieve auction results in the range of $60,000 to $135,000. Collectors crave not only rarity but also beauty, and a flawless coin is a canvas on which history is perfectly preserved. The fascination with the 1976 penny is not just about errors or condition. It is also about the year itself. The bicentennial spirit of 1976 was so strong that nearly every artifact from that time carries a sense of nostalgia and historical weight. A penny from that year is more than just a coin. It is a piece of the American story. For collectors, owning a rare and valuable 1976 penny is like holding a piece of that bicentennial pride in their hands, forever tied to a moment when the nation reflected on its past and looked ahead to its future. Auction houses have played a significant role in cementing the reputation of the 1976 penny as a coin of incredible value. When a rare example comes up for sale, the bidding often sparks intense competition. Collectors know how seldom these coins surface, and they are willing to go above and beyond to secure one. Stories of bidders driving the price from tens of thousands to well over $100,000 are a testament to the coin's magnetism. Each time such a coin appears at auction, it adds another chapter to the legend of the 1976 penny. For everyday people, the idea that a penny from their change jar could be worth $135,000 seems unbelievable. And yet, history proves it possible. Across the country, people continue to search their collections, drawers, and piggy banks, hoping to stumble upon one of these elusive treasures. The possibility that such value could be hiding in plain sight keeps the excitement alive. It transforms the act of checking pennies into a treasure hunt, one where even the smallest discovery can alter a life. The story of the 1976 penny is also a reminder of the broader lessons of coin collecting. It teaches patience, attention to detail, and the importance of preservation. Every scratch, every bit of wear, chips away at a coin's value, while careful storage and handling can make the difference between a common cent and a six-figure rarity. For those who inherit coin collections, the lesson is clear. Take the time to examine every piece, because even the most ordinary-looking penny might hold extraordinary worth. The mystique of the 1976 penny is a perfect example of why numismatics continues to thrive. It bridges the gap between history and everyday life, turning pocket change into objects of fascination. It reminds us that the ordinary can become extraordinary, that a coin most people would ignore could instead become a centerpiece of a world-class collection. And it emphasizes that history lives not only in grand monuments and official records, but also in the small details of our daily lives. Like the penny that passes through our hands. So when you think about the 1976 penny, think not just of its copper color and modest value, but of the stories it carries. Think of the year of America's bicentennial, when celebrations filled the nation. Think of the minting anomalies that transformed some of these pennies into rare treasures. Think of the thrill of auctions where collectors bid furiously for the chance to own one. And think of the staggering truth that a coin worth just 1 cent could in fact be valued between $60,000 and $135,000, perhaps. In a jar tucked away in an attic, or in a roll of coins long forgotten, another extraordinary 1976 penny waits to be discovered. It could be resting unnoticed, its value hidden until the right eyes find it. That possibility is what keeps collectors searching, what inspires curiosity, and what makes the humble penny one of the most fascinating coins in American history. The 1983 1-cent penny from the United States may appear at first glance to be one of the most ordinary coins in circulation. A simple copper-colored piece that has passed through millions of hands and found its way into countless pockets, jars, and drawers over the years. Yet, beneath that unassuming appearance lies a story that has captivated collectors, historians, and treasure seekers. For some, this coin has been nothing more than spare change. For others, the right 1983 penny has turned out to be worth more than they ever imagined, with rare varieties commanding jaw-dropping prices at auction ranging anywhere from $50,000 to $125,000. It is the kind of story that proves the world of coins still holds mysteries and treasures waiting to be uncovered. To truly understand the value of the 1983 penny, you need to know the context of its time. Just 1 year earlier, in 1982, the United States Mint made a significant change in the composition of the cent. For more than a century, pennies had been mostly copper, but rising metal prices made it too costly to continue producing them this way. By 1982, the mint transitioned to using zinc planchets with a thin copper plating, creating a coin that looked the same but was significantly different beneath the surface. The year 1982 saw both copper and zinc versions minted, but by 1983, the copper penny was supposed to be a thing of the past. Every penny from that year onward was to be a zinc coin with copper plating, weighing 2.5 grams instead of the traditional 3.1 grams. And yet, as so often happens in numismatics, things did not go exactly as planned. Mistakes at the mint, small oversights that seemed insignificant at the time, created rare coins that decades later would send shockwaves through the collecting world. A handful of 1983 pennies struck on leftover copper planchets somehow made their way into circulation. These coins are visually identical to ordinary 1983 pennies at first glance, but they are heavier, weighing the traditional 3.1 grams. The discovery of these rare copper-based 1983 pennies turned what was supposed to be an ordinary zinc coin into one of the most sought-after rarities of the modern era. Imagine the thrill of holding such a coin in your hand without even realizing its worth. That is part of the magic of the 1983 penny. Many people who have stumbled upon one did so by accident, weighing their pocket change out of curiosity or sending coins to be appraised without high expectations, only to find out they had a rarity potentially worth $50,000 to $125,000. It is the kind of twist that makes the hobby of coin collecting so thrilling. But weight alone isn't the only factor that makes the 1983 penny valuable. Mint errors also play a significant role. During this time, the mint was still adjusting to the switch from copper to zinc, and errors were not uncommon. Double die varieties, where the design appears doubled due to misalignment during the striking process, can be found in the 1983 penny series. One of the most famous is the 1983 double die reverse, where the lettering on the back of the coin, such as 1 cent and E pluribus unum, appears doubled. Collectors prize these varieties because they are strikingly unusual to the naked eye and are proof of the imperfections that can occur even in the most advanced minting facilities. Coins like this, especially when preserved in uncirculated condition, have brought staggering sums at auction. Condition is another driving factor in the 1983 penny's value. Like all coins, the better preserved it is, the more desirable it becomes to collectors. A coin graded MS 67 or higher by a professional grading service such as PCGS or NGC is extremely rare, as it means the penny has survived decades without scratches, marks, or the dulling that comes from circulation. For the 1983 penny, high-grade examples of the rare copper variety or the double die reverse can skyrocket in value, making them the holy grail for dedicated collectors. The beauty of the 1983 penny story is that it blends the everyday with the extraordinary. This is not some ancient gold coin buried in the ground or a limited edition piece struck in small numbers for collectors. It is a coin millions of people have handled in their daily lives, used to buy gum or dropped into parking meters, and yet among those millions, a rare few have turned out to be treasures worth tens of thousands. The idea that someone could unknowingly spend a coin worth $125,000 at face value is both astonishing and a little heartbreaking, but it's also what keeps collectors constantly checking their change, hoping to find lightning in a penny. The allure of the 1983 penny also comes from the larger cultural and historical moment it represents. The early 1980s were a time of economic change, and the switch from copper to zinc was not just a technical decision but a response to the realities of rising commodity costs. It was a reminder that even the smallest coin in American currency had to adapt to the times. Inadvertently, that change created one of the most fascinating modern rarities. Collectors today can look back at the 1983 penny as a tangible link to that transitional moment in American coinage history. Auction houses have seen firsthand the power this coin holds over collectors. Stories abound of unassuming pennies being submitted for grading and coming back as rare copper strikes or double die varieties, instantly transforming them from pocket change into 5- or 6-figure collectibles. The bidding wars that follow demonstrate the passion and determination collectors bring to owning a piece of numismatic history. When a 1983 penny crosses the auction block and the final hammer falls at a price between $50,000 and $125,000, it is more than just a sale. It is proof of how even the most common-seeming object can become extraordinary under the right circumstances. For the casual viewer or beginner collector, the story of the 1983 penny is an invitation to look more closely at the coins they encounter every day. The difference between a penny worth 1 cent and a penny worth over $100,000 often comes down to a few grams of weight, a doubled letter, or the perfection of its condition. It is a reminder that treasures do not always hide in faraway lands or dusty old vaults. They can be right in your pocket, waiting for you to notice them. The mystique surrounding the 1983 penny is likely to grow as time passes. Coins are constantly being lost, damaged, or forgotten, making the surviving rare varieties even scarcer. For collectors, that means the thrill of the hunt will only intensify, and the potential rewards will remain tantalizingly high. The 1983 penny may be a modern coin, but it carries with it the same sense of wonder and discovery that has driven coin collecting for centuries. So the next time you see a penny dated 1983, don't dismiss it as just another coin. Hold it in your hand, look closely, and remember that within that tiny piece of metal could lie a fortune. With values ranging from $50,000 to $125,000 for the rarest and most perfect examples, the 1983 penny proves that even the humblest coin can hold incredible secrets. And who knows, the very next one you come across could be the discovery that changes your life forever. In the mid-1990s, the United States Mint was continuing its long tradition of producing the Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that had already been circulating for nearly a century by that time. The 1996 1-cent penny might look like just another ordinary coin in your change jar, something most people never think twice about when it passes through their hands. But for coin collectors and those who understand the world of numismatics, this little copper-plated zinc piece has stories to tell, mysteries to uncover, and values that can soar far beyond its humble face value of 1 cent. Certain rare examples of the 1996 penny have been known to bring astonishing amounts of money at auctions, with prices ranging from $42,000 to $120,000 depending on condition, rarity, and the presence of minting errors. At its core, the 1996 penny continues the design first. Introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. On the obverse, we see Victor David Brenner's portrait of Lincoln, one of the most enduring designs in U.S. coinage history. The reverse side of the 1996 penny still carried the image of the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo, which had been in use since 1959. Though millions upon millions of these coins were minted at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco facilities, not all of them are created equal. For a few lucky collectors and sharp-eyed individuals, some of these pennies are extraordinary treasures. Why would anyone pay up to $120,000 for a penny from 1996? The answer lies in a combination of factors: rarity in pristine condition, special mint errors, and the insatiable demand from collectors seeking the finest possible specimens. Coins are graded on a scale, with MS-70 being a perfect coin that shows no blemishes even under magnification. While most 1996 pennies circulated heavily and picked up scratches, wear, and contact marks, a very small number survived in nearly flawless condition. These coins, graded MS-68 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, become highly desirable. Collectors know just how difficult it is to find such perfect examples, and when they appear in auctions, bidding wars often drive the price sky high. But condition is only part of the story. Minting errors are another fascinating piece of the puzzle. Errors occur when something goes wrong during the minting process, and instead of being destroyed, the mistake is released into circulation. For the 1996 penny, there have been reports of double die obverse, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and coins struck with misaligned dies. Some of these errors can be dramatic, with parts of Lincoln's portrait doubled or parts of the design missing altogether. These error coins are incredibly rare, and collectors love them because each one is unique. It's this uniqueness that can push the value of an ordinary 1-cent piece into the tens of thousands of dollars. Think about the symbolism behind this coin as well. Abraham Lincoln is one of the most admired figures in American history, a president who guided the nation through the Civil War and helped bring about the end of slavery. His image on the penny serves as a reminder of his legacy. For collectors, owning a rare Lincoln penny isn't just about money. It's about history, heritage, and holding something that represents resilience and leadership. When the penny in question is a 1996 era coin or a high-grade survivor, the connection between history and rarity makes it all the more valuable. auction houses have played a big role in bringing attention to these coins. When a pristine 1996 penny or a dramatic mint error appears in an auction, the excitement among collectors is palpable. Prices climb quickly, and headlines sometimes follow when the hammer falls at figures like $42,000 or even upwards of $120,000. Those stories inspire people across the country to take a second look at their change jars, coin rolls, and pocket change, hoping to find a hidden gem. This is part of what keeps coin collecting alive and exciting. The possibility that a life-changing treasure could be sitting in plain sight. The mintage numbers themselves suggest why condition matters so much. Hundreds of millions of 1996 pennies were produced, but the vast majority went straight into circulation where they were used for everyday transactions. By the time they pass through countless hands, most of these coins are far from pristine. That's why a mint state coin stands out so sharply. Out of hundreds of millions, only a few can be graded at the very top levels, and those are the ones collectors covet. The 1996 penny also holds a special place in time. It represents an era just before major technological changes, both in the world at large and in the minting process. The 1990s were the last years before digital imaging and more modern minting techniques became commonplace, which means small inconsistencies and errors in coins were still more possible than today. For collectors, that makes the 1996 penny an appealing target to study, as it sits at the intersection of traditional minting practices and the upcoming shift to the new millennium. For those who collect Lincoln cents, the 1996 penny is part of a much larger story. The Lincoln cent series is one of the most popular and widely collected in American numismatics. Collectors often try to complete sets that span decades, covering different mint marks, varieties, and designs. The rare and valuable examples of the 1996 penny provide an exciting challenge, as they can be a key highlight in any collection. When a coin is worth between $42,000 and $120,000, it doesn't just sit quietly in a folder. It becomes the centerpiece of a collection, a coin that sparks conversations and admiration. For everyday people, the thrill lies in the possibility of finding one. We've all received pennies in change at the grocery store or found them at the bottom of a drawer. Most are worth exactly 1 cent. But the story of the 1996 penny shows that even the most ordinary coin has the potential to surprise. It's a reminder that treasures are sometimes hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right person to notice. Think of what $120,000 represents in practical terms. That's not just a number. It's a down payment on a home, several years of college tuition, or even a comfortable retirement cushion. To think that a single penny, a coin dismissed by many as nearly worthless in daily life, could carry that kind of financial power is nothing short of remarkable. It shifts the way people see money itself, not just as currency, but as history, art, and investment. The 1996 penny serves as a perfect example of how the world of coins blends all these elements. It's a piece of history, bearing Lincoln's face and representing his enduring legacy. It's a piece of art, with designs by Brenner and Gasparo capturing both portrait and architecture. It's a piece of mystery, with error coins that tell stories of what can go wrong in the minting process. And it's a piece of opportunity with the chance to turn 1 cent into $42,000, $90,000, or even $120,000 under the right circumstances. For collectors, investors, and everyday people, the message is clear. Never overlook the small things. Every penny has a story, and sometimes that story is worth more than you could ever expect. The 1996 1-cent penny reminds us that treasures aren't always locked away in vaults or hidden in museums. They can be found in the change we use every day. The thrill of discovery, the history in your hands, and the potential for extraordinary value all come together in this remarkable little coin.